It is NBA Now by Chat Sports coming your way on today's show. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Another mailbag where we take all of your questions and allow you to open up the conversation and relay some of your takes and some of your best analysis. So let's get to it right now and see what the people are saying. We begin with this coming in from Marcus Burns. It's a $5 super chat. Do you think a three-team trade where the Rockets get Jalen Brown, Durant to Boston, and Brooklyn gets picks would work? I don't, because I think that Brooklyn wants more than just picks. And think about it from this perspective. If they trade away Kevin Durant, they're going to trade away Kyrie Irving. And while they've done a decent job of building that roster, they've built the roster around having two superstars by signing TJ Warren, trading for Royce O'Neal, trading for Ben Simmons, bringing back Patty Mills. You still have Joe Harris as well as Seth Curry. That team is constructed in a way where if KD and Kyrie go back, I actually think they could be a really legitimate squad. But if they trade KD, they're not going to build with Kyrie Irving with 1 year remaining on his contract. They want player capital back. They want draft capital back. So because of that, I don't think that they'll be comfortable just getting picks back. Move ahead with this one from BG Brody. Do the Lakers make any moves? Look, the Lakers are in a predicament right now. They do not have a lot of cap space. They do not have a lot of roster assets. They don't have a lot of draft assets to make a trade for a better player to upgrade that roster. And this is a Lakers team that is in a tricky situation. I mean, if LeBron James and Anthony Davis play and they're steadily available, the Lakers can certainly make the playoffs. But how does Russell Westbrook factor into the equation? And if LeBron and AD go down for an extended period of time, the Lakers don't have the necessary depth to survive not having two of the best players in the NBA. So as of right now, I think one of the moves that they would love to make is trade for Kyrie Irving and find a way to get rid of Russell Westbrook. But as of right now, it's not really realistic. The first domino that has to fall all comes down to Kevin Durant. Don Brady, next up. Should the Warriors sign Dwight Howard or LaMarcus Aldridge? When you look at the Warriors' front court, I do think they have some needs, okay? They have Kevon Looney. They have James Wiseman. They need a third center. And as of right now, I'm not sure that they have that third center. Now, Dwight Howard could be a good, third string guy who can still rebound the basketball. He can block shots, play a little two-man game, throw down some alley-oops, and give you some defensive tenacity. He is still athletic enough to play as compared to a guy like DeAndre Jordan, who I think is washed. Yes, he signed with the Nuggets. I'm just comparing vets here. And then for LaMarcus Aldridge, he's a different player than Dwight Howard. He can knock down the three. He can knock down a little mid-range, has that baseline J. Not the defender that Dwight Howard is, but I think he too could fit well on the Golden State Warriors, both available in NBA free agency up to this point. Speaking of those two free agents and NBA free agency as a whole, name a player that you want your favorite team to sign. Let me know right now in the comment section. Shay, welcome back to the show. Good to hear from you. Do you think the media is kind of blackballing the Chicago Bulls? No, I don't think so. Look, the Chicago Bulls were the number one seed in the Eastern Conference for a quarter to a half of last year. Injuries started to hit them pretty hard. I think a reason why people aren't buying into the Bulls is because anytime they went up against legitimate competition, if you look at their record against teams with a winning record, they weren't that good, and they didn't fare well. So I think people aren't buying into the Bulls for that reason. Vucevic, a little bit of a question mark down low, especially when he goes up against a guy like Joel Embiid, who always dominates the Chicago Bulls. His career stats against Chicago, really unbelievable. But I don't think that the media is blackballing the Bulls. Look, the NBA product is better when the Bulls are good. They just haven't been a good team in a long time. I do like that roster, though. Jonathan Taylor, next question coming in. Bulls, Lonzo, Pat Williams, DeMar, and picks for KD. Do we think it could happen? Lonzo, because of the health questions with the knee, I think it ends any talks. Lonzo Ball healthy? Maybe, but you would have to add some picks into the equation. And for Brooklyn, you want more star power. I know DeMar DeRozan had a career year last year, and I was really impressed by what he was able to do, considering how long he's been in the league and the tread on the tires and recent years. He was great, but I'm not sure that Lonzo Ball, Patrick Williams, and DeMar DeRozan are enough for KD. You got to add some picks in there. Now, I know you put picks on there, but what picks are we talking? Like multiple first-rounders? That's what it might take. And for the Bulls, you basically gut your roster. Getting KD is great, but now who does he play with? If he's playing with Lonzo, Patrick Williams, and DeMar DeRozan, that's a really good squad. But you take them away, and all of a sudden, I don't think that franchise gets better. Yes, KD, Zach LaVine, pretty appealing, but I still think it's a team that's like in the middle portion of the Eastern Conference. Lars Neal, Kevin Durant to the Sixers. So this is something that has been reported on by Ian Begley of SNY. He said the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, two preferred destinations, according to sources, for Kevin Durant. Now for the Sixers, it won't happen unless you include Tyrese Maxey. The only way that Brooklyn trades Kevin Durant to Philadelphia is if they get back Tyrese Maxey, who is a blossoming superstar, a guy who in the regular season averaged 18 points per game in year 2, and then in the playoffs he averaged more than 20 points per game and shot around 40% from 3 in the playoffs in the regular season, has that shiftiness and wiggle to his game and the demeanor that you want for a young, blossoming player. Kevin Durant to the Sixers, it could happen, but the big question and the response is, do you want to include Tyrese Maxey in a deal for Kevin Durant? And I think Philadelphia would have trepidations of doing that. With KD, where do you think he plays next year? Is it the Nets? Is it a different team? Is it the Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, New Orleans Pelicans, Phoenix Suns, Miami Heat, or another team? Let us know and pick a squad right now. Now, our YouTube following is massive. Our Rumble following is also gaining steam, and I want you to give us a follow on Rumble because sometimes we go live exclusively on that platform. It's another platform where content creators are able to push out content that's uncensored, NSFW, if you know what I mean. In addition to our Chat Sports NBA content, news, politics, tech, business, other sports, we continue to grow the platforms that you use, so make sure you give us a follow at rumble.com/WarriorsTV. Nice little competition going on between our 3 NBA properties, or just 3 of our NBA properties. We have about 16 channels right now. Warriors Today with nearly 4,000 followers. NBA Now right behind it and nearly 3,700. Then the Lakers Report approaching 3,000. Rumble.com/NBA Now. Support us over there. We greatly appreciate it in advance. We keep it humming. Mindset player. Do you think the Raptors can acquire Kevin Durant or Donovan Mitchell? I think the Raptors are a sneaky team to acquire Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant. And the Raptors have been mentioned a little bit in trying to make a trade for KD. For KD, he always talks about being a hooper and loving basketball. If you want to go to a good basketball situation, that's what Toronto has to offer. Masai Ujiri, arguably the best general manager in the sport. Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches, if not the best. I think Eric Spoelstra might top him. Other guys are certainly up there, no question about it. But the Raptors can include a couple of really, really intriguing players. Scotty Barnes, Precious Achiuwa, you want to include Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet. They've done a great job of developing homegrown talent and constructing really competitive rosters year in and year out. So Toronto, don't sleep on them for either KD or D-Mitch. Rumpel, big Cavs fan, can Kevin Durant lead a team to the NBA Finals? Yes, he's done it before. He has done it with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He won 2 NBA Finals MVPs with the Warriors. Yes, he was playing on some of the greatest teams of all time. Failed to get to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Nets, and in a couple of years only won one playoff series. But KD is one of the most special, unique, and best players of all time. He can lead a team to the NBA Finals. Can he do it in a way that LeBron James did with the Cleveland Cavaliers? Probably not. Like Michael Jordan did back in the day, even though the complementary cast with the Bulls was really good. Yeah, maybe not. But KD, worthy and capable of leading a team to the Finals, no question. SM, Draymond said he's not sure the Lakers can win the title if they keep Brandon Ingram over Kyle Kuzma. Do you agree with him? Back in 2020 during the bubble season, they were paced by LeBron James and Anthony Davis and then have everybody else. Now, they did have good complementary players. Alex Caruso came up clutch. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard were really good. Kyle Kuzma was coming through. KCP was a big factor there too. But Brandon Ingram, I know he wasn't the player then that he is now, but Brandon Ingram on that squad in 2020, maybe because of the lack of confidence, that would hurt the Lakers, and Kyle Kuzma was that good glue guy, but I don't know. That's tricky. I do trust Draymond Green's basketball opinion. I don't like that he's on that new media movement because people are going to tune into media that they want, that's entertaining, and that's why we have success here at Chat Sports. Sloan Bradley, will the Celtics start Marcus Smart or Malcolm Brogdon? What I would do, I'd start Malcolm Brogdon, and I'd bring in Marcus Smart off the bench or find a way to play both guys. The only problem, you run into a little bit of a situation there with what you do in your front court because you have to start Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum too. And then do you play Robert Williams at the 5 and then bring in Al Horford off the bench? That's a lineup that gave the Celtics a lot of flexibility and made them really good, going with Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, Williams. But Malcolm Brogdon, he's just that prototypical point guard, and Marcus Smart is not. Now, I do give credit to Marcus for how he performed in that role last year, but I think that Brogdon kind of sets things up a little bit better than Marcus Smart, who's the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you think starts? Let us know right now. Join the conversation down below. MS for Marcus, MB for Malcolm Brogdon. Chime in. DC Marley, what's good, bro? I don't think the 76ers have enough to pull off a Kevin Durant trade. It would have to be Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, Matisse Thybulle. The problem that backs up your argument, DC, they gave up future picks for James Harden, so they don't have a lot of future draft assets on the table. Who else do you include in that trade? I mean, there's not really many appealing guys. Shake Milton, Paul Reed, you can't trade any of your free agent acquisitions. DeAnthony Melton's a good player. I don't think you can trade him again because you just traded him per the NBA rules. So you're probably right, DC Marley. Luke Byrne, one of our loyal subscribers, last question in this mailbag. Is the trade and free agency market frozen until Durant is moved? What does that mean for a team like Dallas who needs a point guard? So I think a lot of teams are waiting to maybe make that next big signing because it's all depending on what Kevin Durant is going to do and where he's going to play and if that respective team has a chance to land KD. For Dallas, they shouldn't press pause or wait because they're not going to land Kevin Durant either way. Now, if Kevin Durant goes to a different team, does that mean that another player across the NBA might be more readily available? Yeah, maybe. The lack of movement from Dallas has been somewhat confusing. Like the fact that they haven't really tried for Colin Sexton, a little bit confusing. So I see where you're coming from, Luke.